I do think that Washington continues to have a gripe here by being ranked behind Florida State. They have a win over number 6 Oregon. Oregon's still the top one-loss team in these rankings, have been since the very beginning. And they have been playing better teams week over week than Florida State has. Here is what committee chair Boo Corrigan had to say when he was asked by Reese Davis about that order, FSU staying ahead of Washington 4-5.
What is the debate in the room like in relative strength of the ACC schedule that Florida State has faced as opposed to what Washington has faced and is facing in the Pac-12?
Yeah, Florida State really good offensively, has been really good defensively. You know, don't undersell the Miami-Florida State rivalry as well, and that's been going on for years. Miami hit a big play for that touchdown in the second half, but we felt Florida State was a dominant team in there, and Washington continues to win. Really good defensive second half against Utah, but as we looked at it and evaluated it, and you know, as y'all can appreciate, the debate is getting stronger every week as we get more and more data points going through this, but we ended up with Florida State at 4 and Washington at 5.
Okay, so it's one of those scenarios where we feel like the selection committee justifies something. So yeah, the Miami game, a rivalry game, that means something. That's great. That's totally fine. But Washington's resume is stronger and they have been playing better teams. I understand. Listen, I have dropped Washington in my individual rankings.
Yes,
Got
you did.
questions about the defense. I didn't. Okay, I'm just saying, I don't know that the defense is going to get them to a CFP, but they are unbeaten. And if we are comparing comparable teams, resume should matter in this. So, Chris, do you have qualms about this, about the order keeping FSU still ahead of ahead of Washington?
Yes, and Ari's in the chat saying Boo has good vibes. I gotta say, does he have the easiest job of any selection committee chair speaker that we've seen? He's had no drama.
Well. Hold on. Is he going to have the most challenging job though? Like,
I don't think he will.
We're setting up. This has been the most teams that have been unbeaten this far in the season. There are good one-loss teams. Some of them are playing really, really well. You don't think that this could potentially be a difficult selection Sunday?
It could. It's just usually not. But yes, like this is honestly the weirdest thing he said in several weeks of doing this, which is don't underestimate the Miami-Florida rivalry.
That was his first slip up.
The Miami team playing with its backup quarterback that you let have an 85-yard touchdown pass. Like I don't know. Like ultimately, Florida State's wins are not as good as we thought they were at the time. LSU has turned out to be okay, like pretty good, but not CFP good like we thought. Clemson's 6-4. Boston College, who they almost lost to, 6-4. Duke isn't doing very much. So you compare that to Washington, which has beaten Oregon, which has beaten Arizona, which has beaten Utah, USC. It's like the resumes are not even close between Washington and Oregon. And if Oregon is up so high because as the top one-loss team for whatever reason, then Washington should then get a lot more credit for what it has done, including beating Oregon. To me, it's not even close. Like, yes.
No.
Yes, Washington struggled against Arizona State and Stanford and kind of didn't play great in a couple things, but they still won those games. Florida State almost lost to Boston College. Like, again, it's very weird. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to matter, but it is something to talk about. It is something where I say, I don't think that one really makes much sense, but I guess it's because of the history of the Miami-Florida State rivalry, apparently.
It doesn't make sense because the committee adjusted this week by putting Georgia ahead of Ohio State. So it finally said, like, okay, we've been doing this for a couple weeks. Here is a change in the data. Like, here is a different resume. And they have not done that at all with Washington, who has improved their resume over the last couple of weeks. But again, already has the best win in the country, according to the committee's own rankings, because Oregon is still there at number 6. It's really interesting.